Situated a few dozen light years from Earth, the solar system of Nakari-1011 used to be a realm devoid of life. The system is considerably younger than the solar system of Earth, with 10 planets orbiting the twin suns. Due to the unique mechanics of this binary system, no planet short of the habitable zone could stay in orbit. Because of this, the first planet within the Nakari system is where life could have formed. But alas, when humanity made the long journey across the stars to Nakari-1011c, the planet was dead and empty. Many of the conditions for life as we know it were present: an Earth-like gravity and atmospheric pressure, a large moon, a reasonable 35-degree axial tilt, and a healthy magnetosphere. Whilst the temperature on the planet was too hot for most Earth life, Nakari-1011c was almost identical to an ancient Earth. Upon first arrival to this alien world, humanity did what they did best: colonize and expand their ambitions. However, a task as demanding as terraforming an entire exoplanet would cost unfathomable amounts of money. The funds for such a mega project would have to come from one of the richest humans of all time. And Tex was this person. He was the richest, most eccentric, and arguably the craziest person humanity has ever seen up to this point. Born in the late 22nd century, he was heavily inspired by the International Front of Venusian Settlement. Seeing the success of this endeavor, he set his ambition to the stars. Over the next few decades in his life, he would claw his way up to be the wealthiest man of his time. Although his exact methods of gaining so much wealth is unknown, he was most famous for cornering the market on slightly faster-than-light travel. This major leap in technology would allow for Earthling expansion into the galaxy to be eons faster than there was before, allowing the stars and the planets that orbit them to be up for grabs. Whilst a deeper dive into Tex's historical impacts on humanity be looked into further detail later, his impacts on Nakari-1011c are more pressing for the sake of this video. Over the course of the rest of his 156-year life, he would personally supervise the terraforming process of his privately owned planet. The terraforming process was quite a difficult one. At first, comets were directed by pilots and drones to strike Nakari-1011c, causing the seas to rise. Then, large ships were used to block out sunlight to artificially lower the temperatures, bringing the planet its first snowfall. When the exoplanet became cold enough for Earth life to actually inhabit it, a myriad of algae species were released onto the planet, some genetically modified to be more tolerant of the archaic conditions of this new world. This algae would become the bedrock for a whole planet of organisms to thrive on. Bringing seeds and other plant material from Earth, the founders of this new world grew a variety of floral life. Of course, these flowers must be pollinated and dispersed by something, which is a role that many insects were brought onto the planet to fulfill. For many animal species, taking live specimens was too much of a hassle. Instead, genetic samples were taken from hundreds of specimens on Earth, sourced from zoos or hunting reserves. The genetic samples were then cloned into the organisms on the planet, which would then be dispersed across the world. Ulterior motives were quite present from the beginning of the Second Earth, however. From the start, Tex was dead set on turning Nakari-1011c into a planetary hunting reserve. A hunting reserve almost exclusively dominated by North American fauna, for reasons due to Tex's pro-American bias. For a long time after the death of Tex, his terraformed world was a wonderful haven. But not all good things were meant to last. During the final war, the nations of Earth nuked each other into oblivion. This cataclysm caused a mass extinction, with the Earthling empires losing control of their planetary colonies. This would devolve interplanetary politics into a cosmic Wild West, with extremist factions attempting to take over the place where former Earth nations did. One such faction was the infamous Space PETA. Derived from an almost irrelevant Earth organization, this faction would hold power across a dozen planets and commit atrocities on a scale incomprehensible to humanity today. Over the course of a few years, millions upon millions of people were either killed or forced to abandon their exoplanetary homes, which included the residents of Nakari-1011c. By the time Space PETA was vanquished, the Nakari system and other worlds were empty of people. The survivors of the final war decided not to recolonize these depleted worlds, deciding to leave them as honorary graveyards for those lost in the conflict. The world of Nakari-1011c specifically was made to be a refuge for the North American animals that were wiped out on Earth when the nuclear bombs dropped. The planet received a new name of Parias, derived from the English word of pariah. Some statues were erected, but humanity left for the final time soon after. Now, the animals left on the planet would have to fend for themselves and evolve without any more human intervention. I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. It took a while to make this thing, and there was a lot of hardships in the way this summer. However, I plan to make more content in the future, so if you would like to, please subscribe and follow the Discord server for more updates. Thank y'all so much again. Have a great day.